Today we are going to see one more scenario, and scenario is, let's see what is our scenario for today topic. So we have the, as a title said, Kubernetes share volume multi-container pod with the empty dir volume, and below is our scenario. We are working on the application that will be deployed on the multiple container within pod on the Kubernetes cluster. There is the requirement to share a volume among the container to save some temporary data. DevOps team is developing a similar template to replicate the scenario. Below you can find the more detail about it. Create a pod. Pod name is volume share infusion, and the first container use the image Ubuntu with latest tag, and the tag is the Ubuntu latest. Container should be named as the volume container infusion 1, and run the sleep command for it so that remain in running state. Volume is name is the volume share and should be mounted at the path temp beta. So in the first container, volume name is volume share and mounted in the first container temp beta. And for the second container, use the image Ubuntu same image with the latest tag, and the Ubuntu latest container should be named as the volume container infusion 2. Again, run the sleep command so that it remain in the running state, and volume name is the same volume share and should be mounted in on the path temp games. So in the first container mounted at the 10 beta, and the second container mounted at the temp games, but in both the container the volume name is same volume share. Now volume name should be volume share of the type emptyDir. EmptyDir we are using to store the data for the temporary purpose until the container or pod is there. Once the container or pod is deleted, this volume is also deleted. So after creating the pod, eject into the first container, volume container infusion 1, and just testing, create a file beta.test with any content under the mounted path of the first container, example temp beta. And that file beta.txt should be present under the mounted path in temp games on the second container volume container infusion 2 as well, since they are using the same share volume. So in short, what in this scenario we are going to achieve, we have one pod in which has the two container, and in the first container we are using the one volume and it is mounted on some particular path, and in that volume we are going to write something in the first container. Then again we are going to log into the second container because same volume is mounted on the second container also in some path, so that data it will be available for the second container also. This is similar things like that. You have one room and you have the two key, so you have stored something to the in that room, and the two persons which has the key can open the lock and they can take the whatever they want from the room. So how we are going to achieve, let's see. So here the complete Kubernetes menu specify to create the pod and two containers here, an empty dir volume name the volume share. So first let's go to the YAML file of the pod. So API version is the v1, kind is pod, metadata name we have the volume share infusion, and spec parts we have the volume, and volume name is the volume share, and our type is the empty dir. Now let's come to the container. The first container volume container infusion 1 and is using the image Ubuntu latest. As per the requirement, we are going to run the sleep command for 30 36 100 means for 1 hour, so that the container will be in running a state for 1 hour. And volume mount and name, we are going to use the volume share because of volume and name is the volume share. And in the first container we are going to mount in the temp beta. Similarly for the second container, the name is the volume container in fusion 2, and we are going to use the image same ubuntu latest. Again we are going to run the sleep command for 1 hour, so that it will be continued in running a state. Then in the second container, we are going to mount the same volume in the different path in the temp folder only, temp games. Okay. Then we are going to create the this pod by the help of the kubectl apply hyphen f pod name. Then we are going to verify whether the pod are running or not, whether both the container are running or not. Then we are going to eject into the first container, means so we are going to inside the first container by the help of kubectl exec hyphen it, then first pod name, then hyphen c, then first container name, and then dash that bash, and then one inside the container we are going to write something in that container in the temp beta and beta.txt. We are going to write share volume test or whatever you want to write. Then we are going to check whether whatever we have written, whether that data is saved in the first container or not is saved. Then we come out from the first container. Now we are going inside the second container like kubectl exec hyphen it and a pod name, then container name, and then hyphen bash. Then we are going to check whether the whatever the data we have saved in the first container, whether it's showing in the second container or not. So it's showing means it means that the volume is shared for both the container. So let's check same thing in our production clusters. So this is our production cluster. Let's run the command and YAML file whatever we have in our blog, and blog link I will give in the resource section of this video. So let's copy the first the pod YAML file. So just copied it and create one file inside the cluster. Let's name vi pod.yaml, and then go into insert mode, then paste it, then just save it, then just apply by the help of kubectl apply hyphen f, then pod.yml, press enter. Now let's see whether the pod are created or not. Kubectl get pod. So we can see the pod is created and both the container 2 by 2 is running. So now let's go to the next step. Next step is we need to go inside the first container by the help of kubectl exec command. So let's copy the first command from the blog, paste it. So now we are inside the first container. So let's write something here. So we are going to write suppose this. We are going to write echo shared volume test. Maybe we can write here something else also as per your requirement, and we are going to save in the temp beta because volume is mounted at the temp beta. In that under the temp beta we are going to create the beta.txt, and the beta.txt we are going to store this shared volume test, or if you want something you can write that also by the help of echo command, then press enter. So same thing we can verify whether the we have the data saved or not. Copy this one by the help of cat command, paste it. So we have the data inside the first container. Now let's come out from this container. Now let's go inside the second container by the help of exit command and the second container name. Paste it. Then now we are inside the second container. Now let's check. So we have the data in the second container also share volume tasks. In the second container, because volume is mounted at the temp games, that's why we went inside the temp game, and inside this volume is mounted. So this file is there, whatever we created in the first container. So in this way we can verify whether the any file if we create, and if the volume is shared between the multiple container, then what other container can see whatever created by the one container. Thank you and happy learning. See you in the next video.